The Backrooms. You've been here before. Entity number 13. Transporters. Old entity revision. Entity designation 13. Habitat. Indoor levels and interiors of buildings. Image caption. A photo of a transporter in an as of yet unidentified level. Description. Entity 13, also known as transporters and grabbers, are floating silhouetted humanoids known for snatching and teleporting wanderers and other entities seemingly at random. Behaviors. These entities float in random spots, staring at random spots of the environment. If a wanderer attracts the attention of a transporter, footnote, through making loud noises, speaking in earshot, running, etc., it will turn to stare and begin to hover towards them, quickly gaining in speed until it reaches the wanderer. The transporter will then lift the wanderer up by their hands and no clip seemingly into the nearest wall. One of two things will happen afterwards. Either a swift death, footnote, the cause of death is unknown, it's suspected their no clips may be fatal to non Entity 13 life, or the person will be dragged through a void and land in seemingly random levels with a varying safety. It is not recommended to attempt contact with a transporter due to their possibly fatal no clips unless in mortal danger. Biology. Transporters are humanoid entities with completely light absorbing skin, making them completely pitch black even in brightly lit environments. The only exception is their singular eye, which are humanoid and have a similarly pitch black pupil like the rest of their body. They lack legs or a pelvis and consistently float 1.5 meters above the ground. Their pitch black body makes discerning more details of their biology difficult. All transporters wear long black coats and black pork pie hats with large, wide brims. Their coats often drag across the floor, leading to some tears/fraying and grime around the bottom edges. Discovery. Entity 13 was discovered by an unaligned wanderer when they watched a person being taken by a transporter in level 131. As of writing this document, this encounter and another experience of a Meg operative are the only fully recorded encounters with transporters, with other accountants only being hearsay and rumors. Do's and don'ts. Do's. Slowly and quietly back away from them until out of earshot before running. Stay quiet and avoid talking. Don'ts. Talk or scream in earshot of the entity. Run from the entity. Shine a light on the entity if in a dark area. Wanderer experience number 1. Note from archivist Whiskey. It's a scrawling tape. No idea if it'd actually be useful for learning purposes, but orders are orders. You know it's a gamble with the guy. I cut it for shortness, so you're welcome. Scrawling. So that's how I figured out that damn barista was stealing those tips, cheeky bastard. But I can understand the grind. Anyways, it looks like I'm stuck back in these tunnels. There's so many of these dang places. I can't really keep track. Scrawling. I mean, like, it's not like the underworld was infinitely more expensive than any one person could know, right? The chances of getting out are scrawling. Deep sigh. Alright, that's enough of that. It's gotta be these tunnels. Maybe they're messing with my head. Keep it in the game, you old fart. You just gotta keep going and scrawling. Wait, there's some guy here. Real shady guy. Neighborhood watch sign looking fella. Don't know if he's one of them beasts, but let me just. The sound of cautious footsteps as scrawling approaches. Scrawling. Wait a minute. Where are your scrawling? Legs. Oh, fuck! Scrawling bleeps expletives as the jarring telltale noise of no clipping is heard. For about 4 minutes, Scrawling screams and wind noise is picked up by the recorder. It abruptly stops with the thud of the cassette recorder and Scrawling himself. Scrawling's breathing can be heard as the ambience and calls of parrot like entities is heard. New level is presumed to be level 712. Scrawling, in between breaths. What the hell was that? That thing just grabbed me and threw me out here. Pause. Scrawling. Well, at least I'm outside now, or I guess whatever's close enough to it. Tape segment ends here. Wanderer experience number 2. Interviewer: Meg operative Barney Rust Jackson. Interviewee: Anonymous Level 11 denizen. Interviewee: You know how weird it is that landlords exist on level 11? I mean, there is literally infinite living spaces, and yet still people think, oh, I'm going to be scummy and be a land parasite in a literal hellscape. What are you even hoarding that counts as wealth, huh? Almond water? Bitch, there are levels solely composed of that shit. And speaking of almond water, why does it heal people? It's almond. That nutty fucker ain't doing shit to me besides giving me rashes everywhere. And yet, it's the fucking Tylenol and gold standard of this shit operative Rust loudly sighs. Can we please get back on topic? The entity encounter? Interviewee: Well, clearly you haven't been listening to my vital sub-metaphors. Footnote from Archivist Whiskey. Is that even a real word? But if you need me to spell it out for you, then fine. Operative Rust. Interviewee: There's this level. I call it the disco car park. I don't know what your group calls it. You know how finicky level 11 is. Step on a gutter and you end up in a gross sewers, and then collapse into a car park. Vile. Absolutely no continuity or theme. They're just throwing levels at each other, who or whatever they would be. Anyways, I'm looking for a way out, and there's these guys. Interviewee: You know those shitty animated PSAs from the 80s? Imagine them trench coated shadows. Give them fuck off wide brimmed hats and throw them in a car lot. There you go. Floating too. Didn't see their legs. The usual bullshit. Interviewee: And there's a lot of them, all circled together like they're summoning Satan or something, making these, gang signs? No, ritual hand gestures at each other. Looking back, it wouldn't surprise me if they were satanic or some shit like that. You know how it is here. Operative Rust. Gang signs? Interviewee: I don't fucking know, man. But you know what you do when you see that shit? Interviewee: You fucking run come hell or high water. So that's exactly what I did. That alerted the horde, though, so one of them started floating towards me. You should know the rest if you're asking me. Operative Rust. Yeah, let's say that. Interviewee: They threw me right back into my shitty apartment in level 11. By the way, I'm low on rent this month. Do you have any spare almond water on you? Wander Experience Number 3. Note from Operative Poppy. This conversation was originally recorded in ASL, footnote, American Sign Language, and has been transcribed into written word by myself. Interviewer: Meg Operative Layla Poppy Jackson. Interviewee: Anonymous Level 11 Denizen. Operative Poppy. So, how exactly did you encounter Entity 13? Interviewee: I was in an empty skyscraper in level 11. I was looking for a place to set up a base. I saw a grabber looking out the window. I didn't know that they were an entity. Glass floor, didn't want to look down. Nerves, you know. The sun was bright in front of it, so I assumed it was naturally shadowed. Interviewee: I must have made a noise because it turned around suddenly. It wasn't the sun. Interviewee: I decided to sign a greeting. Figured it was best to be polite before I died. It got visibly excited and began rapidly signing. It was a bit hard to see it with all the shadow, but we managed. Operative Poppy. Fascinating. What was it like? Interviewee: It had a very broken way of signing, used both ASL and BSL. Footnote: British Sign Language. In a strange hybrid of both. I only know ASL, so it was difficult to follow, but I got the general message. Operative Poppy. And that message was? Interviewee: People carry service. Didn't take up the offer. Figured it was safest here, in level 11. It seemed disappointed, slouched shoulders and such. Turned back around and continued to stare out the window. I left soon after. Is this what you wanted to know? Operative Poppy. Yes, it was. Thank you. Postscript. This is huge. We ought to make an entirely new page for this. Archivist Whiskey. Agreed. The older vision has needed reformatting for a while, especially with this new information. I'd be happy to work on such a project when need arises. Dr. Bree. New Entity Revision. Entity Designation 13. Habitat, Indoor Levels, and Interiors of Buildings. Isle Entity Threat Score. Danger 0. Intelligence C+. Image caption: A sketch of a transporter. Footnote: I tried taking a photo instead, but they seem to be very camera shy. Operative Poppy. Description: Entity 13, also known as transporters and grabbers, are floating silhouetted humanoids, known for ferrying wanderers and entities across the backrooms. Behaviors: these entities float in random spots, staring at random spots of the environment. Their attention can be drawn towards a wanderer via visual or auditory contact. Once contacted, they will turn to stare and will attempt to communicate via sign language or by directing attention towards a sign reading taxi service in a variety of languages. Expressing agreement via nodding or thumbs up will cause the transporter to grab the wanderer with their hands and swiftly no-clip into the nearest wall. Transporters seem to travel through an as of yet unknown level only accessible by the entity itself. After a viable amount of time, 3 to 5 minutes, transporters will then drop off the wanderer into the level of their choosing, expressed before agreeing to the transporter service. If they do not make these prior arrangements, the entity will bring them to a random level with a survival difficulty class of 3 or below. Biology: transporters are humanoid entities with completely light absorbing skin, making them completely pitch black, even in brightly lit environments. The only exception is a singular eye, which are humanoid and have similarly pitch black pupils, like the rest of their body. They lack legs or a pelvis and consistently float 1.5 meters above the ground. Their arms, in contrast, are extremely long at 3 meters with 4 joints and long, multi jointed fingers with at least 7 segments. Transporters seem to have the unique ability to voluntarily grow more arm and finger segments at will. This ability is poorly understood. All transporters wear long black coats and black pork pie hats with large wide brims. These hats have a yellow and black checkered band wrapped around the center. Their coats often drag across the floor, leading to some tears/fraying and a grime around the bottom edges. Discovery: Entity 13 was discovered by an unaligned wanderer when they watched a person being taken by a transporter in level 131. As of writing this document, at least 20 wanderers' experiences with transporters have proven their honesty and safety as a means of travel across the backrooms. Interview log. Note: we talked in the combined sign these entities use. I have since transcribed the conversation into written word. Dr. Bree. Interviewer: Dr. Bree. Interviewee: a transporter. Dr. Bree: we still have a few questions. Is it alright if I ask? Transporter: yes, will, can, yes, yes, will. Dr. Bree: alright. First question: why did it take so long to establish contact? Transporter: thought understood signal. Given yes, noise good, welcome move. Move. Transporter: old understood, given direction, taught hello, wave, grab, move. Dr. Bree: and about your level, what is it and why is it so dark? Transporter: maze water, dark, marble void sky. Home friend: safe not us only safe. Transporter: dark, cannot pay too big infinite bill cost. Price dark safe. Dr. Bree: and the taxi service sign? Why did you start carrying them around? Transporter: yes, see, hello, yes, taxi, hi, move, ideal, move. Happy friends understand.